right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Tonight, groceries and gas. Why the two staples will cost more next week if you live in Illinois. Plus tonight, hazy skies and unhealthy air.
100% makes me worried.
What docs say you should do as smoke from Canadian wildfires blankets the Midwest.
A weather first, weather alert. From bad air to big heat as near record temperatures move in Thursday and Friday. The dangerous heat index values we expect Thursday afternoon.
Tonight, the haze is still visible, but the smoke from Canadian wildfires is clearing across the St. Louis region, but extreme heat is moving in. Good evening. Thank you for being with us. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. The temperatures are expected to hit triple digits over the next few days. We have live team coverage tonight of the poor air quality and how you can prepare yourself for the dangerous heat moving into St. Louis. But first, let's send it over to Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell for the latest on this weather alert.
Well, initially, Mike, we had the very thick smoke across the St. Louis area from those wildfires in Canada this morning. The good news is this afternoon, visibility's improved. That smoke drifted away from us, and the air quality overall is much better this evening than it was when we started out tomorrow. As far as the wildfire smoke goes, and this has been one of the players that we've been dealing with in the last 24 hours, that's now shifting and focusing farther east and northeast. Air quality is still going to be a problem tomorrow. It's still unhealthy for some of us, but it is better than what we were dealing with today. Tomorrow will be mainly in the afternoon and mainly ozone. But that searing heat Thursday and Friday with heat index values upwards of 105 to 110 degrees. So here are your expected heat index values tomorrow afternoon. This is what it will feel like if you're outside doing any kind of exertion. So you really do need to spend some time in air conditioning and make sure your neighbors, especially the seniors, are using their air if they have it. And if they don't, find them a place that's a little bit cooler. Maybe take them into your place for the evening, let them have a few hours to cool off, drink water, and then some more water. Got to stay hydrated, and remember to take frequent breaks if you are going to be outside and exerting yourself. We'll see in a few minutes. We'll talk about how long this heat lasts and if any rainfall is heading our way.
Tonight, that thick haze of Canadian wildfire smoke is still visible over Busch Stadium and City Park. Thousands of fans packed both open-air stadiums, exposing themselves to the poor air quality. Our Brent Solomon is live tonight with the dangers everyone is breathing in. Brent.
Well, we're here at City Park tonight. Some soccer fans are leaving the stadium as we speak. I've been speaking with sports fans all evening long. Quite frankly, many of them are concerned about the air quality. Some of them are not. Experts tell me it can affect anyone.
A smoky haze over St. Louis Wednesday, and if you were out and about, chances are you noticed.
Clouds are real smoky.
It didn't come as a surprise to those who saw it formulating hours earlier.
When I was watching the game yesterday, I could see the smoke over the stadium when I was watching it on TV.
I noticed it. I've been hearing it came from Canada.
That's right. Smoke from the Canadian wildfire reaching our area, prompting medical experts to tell those with respiratory problems to limit any strenuous activity outside.
I have asthma, definitely. I keep a spare inhaler in my car.
Doctors say in times like these, it's a good idea to keep that inhaler on you.
This can trigger asthma attacks, or for folks with COPD or even allergies, they can just all of a sudden have new triggers.
Chris Martinez is with the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America.
Our job is to help people breathe. And you realize that today our job just got a little bit harder.
Not only can breathing in smoke trigger asthma, it can lead to a fast heartbeat, chest pain, and make you feel short of breath and tired.
If you're at home, it's time to make sure the windows and doors are closed, use the air conditioning. If you're in the car, again, windows up, use the air conditioning if you can.
Sports fans braving the conditions anyway.
100% makes me worried. All the smokiness, it could, affect us. We'll be able to see how we feel tomorrow.
All right, now we saw a lot of folks wearing these KN95 masks. But keep this in mind, the bad air quality is because of a mixture of particles and gas. Martinez, who you just heard from, said that these masks can help when it comes to the particles, but not so much when it comes to the gas. His best advice tonight, make sure your air filters are up to date, both at home and in your car. Mike.
And Brent, as we said, the air quality is only one half of the problem. Extreme heat with temperatures in the triple digits coming our way, making it very important to check on the most vulnerable people in our neighborhoods. Our Laura Barczewski is live downtown to show us how organizations are trying to help. Laura.
Mike, these organizations say the most important thing is for you to have some sort of cooling source. For a lot of us, that's an air conditioner, but the reality is some of the most vulnerable may not have one or can't afford it. So there is help out there. That's the good news. It might look like Ralph Jordan is just enjoying his porch on a nice summer day, but what you don't see is how miserable it is inside his house.
See, it's out here at 90. Well, you got to be in there. You got to be about 100.
So you've been sitting outside by the fan, huh?
Eating this watermelon. You see this watermelon here? Keeping me cool. And you see this big fan sitting right here?
Jordan says his air conditioner was more than 20 years old and couldn't be fixed, so he had to get rid of it. Unfortunately, the weather is only going to make his situation worse.
Oh, they're going to get hotter. It's going to. Yeah, I looked at the news, and it says it's going to be 90, so I ran over there this morning. I usually don't get up that early, but I said I'm going to get me some cool down.
And he's not just saying he needs to cool down. He's talking about a lifeline organization ready to help.
At Cool Down St. Louis, basically one thing: save lives.
Cool Down St. Louis can provide air conditioners to people like Jordan. Either their unit has broken down or they don't have one at all. They'll even go one step further to help with your bills.
But you've got to call us first and your utility company and tell us about your inability to pay. We will try to drive down that bill as far as we can.
The organization partnered with the St. Louis Fire Department to give Jordan a surprise the very same day he called.
And we typically do about 30 of these a year. I would like for us to increase that number, because there are still people out here who maybe are not aware of the program or just don't have a window unit, so we can come out and do that for free.
Captain Leon Whitener says he's seen what happens when people don't call Cool Down St. Louis.
Every year we have someone or maybe a couple people that succumb to the heat.
But luckily that won't be Jordan, because now he can actually be in his house and not be miserable.
And right away, I think I'm going to be blessed for the day. I'm going to stay in the house and eat the watermelon.
Watch out for signs of heat exhaustion like excessive sweating, nausea, and muscle cramps. Heat stroke can also make you nauseous, give you a throbbing headache, and you may even stop sweating. So before it gets to that point, call one of these organizations or take yourself to a cooling center while you do that. We'll have that information on KSDK.com. Reporting live in downtown St. Louis, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
And for the latest on the dangerous temperatures and air quality and how to protect you and your family, all you have to do is text the word HEAT to 314-425-5355.
Developing tonight, a disturbing discovery in Forest Park. A body was found this afternoon near Union and Grand Drives, not far from the Muni. We're told the body was badly decomposed. Right now, St. Louis police are investigating it as a suspicious death.
From last week's deadly mass shooting at a downtown party to a recent rash of car break-ins, we've been reporting on several stories involving youth crime in St. Louis in recent months.
Tonight, a new report is revealing disturbing data from the juvenile court system. Our Robert Townsend has more on the troubling trend. Robert.
Gigi Breitenfeld and her family have only lived in Soulard for 1 month. The St. Louis mom cannot believe they're now crime victims, allegedly as a result of a bad act by kids.
Certainly concerning because, these kids are young.
A neighbor called her after spotting several boys in her daughter's car. The 2016 Honda Accord was parked outside the family's home near 12th and Barton Streets.
These kids shouldn't even be out at that time of night.
Officers canvassed the neighborhood and detained 3 boys, just 13, 14, and 15 years old.
Anything can happen to them committing these crimes as well. They can be killed or hurt.
The teen-related car break-in comes as police continue searching for 5 gun-holding teens in this photo. Investigators call them suspects in a recent deadly mass shooting at a downtown party. Interestingly, the new City of St. Louis Family Court report to the community is now revealing disturbing data when it comes to juvenile crime. It shows the number of felony referrals police sent to juvenile court jumped from 535 in 2021 to 878 in 2022. Misdemeanor referrals increased from 459 in 2021 to 714 in 2022. And status referrals, such as curfew violations, truancy, and underage drinking, also jumped from 104 in 2021 to 158 in 2022.
We have to do something about it.
Clinical psychologist and Webster University professor Dr. Jamika Woody Cooper is not surprised by the trend.
Until we do something in our community about policing, better protection, parenting, and access to guns, we're going to see this continue.
And people are trying to band together and, make the neighborhood and the city better.
Brightonfield tells me the young offenders caused $3,000 in damage to her daughter's car. Those 3 boys were turned over to juvenile court, and tonight police tell us they are still investigating this.
Tonight, a new concern in Coldwater Creek, which has a long history of nuclear waste contamination. The EPA says 1,000 gallons of wastewater from a Boeing treatment plant made its way into the creek yesterday. The agency says it contained trivalent chromium. According to the CDC, the compound can irritate the respiratory system when inhaled. The EPA says Boeing stopped the release and started sampling.
The EPA on-scene coordinator and Boeing developed a sampling strategy that would assess the impacts.
The EPA says results should come in within 24 hours. The Missouri Department of Natural Resources is doing its own tests. Boeing sent a statement saying, in part, a small volume of wastewater was released and the cause of the release has been mitigated.
A live look now at St. Louis Lambert International Airport, where the 4th of July travel period is off to a rough start. There have been more than 115 flight delays and a dozen cancellations today. It's part of a bigger problem nationwide. Thousands of delays and cancellations are being blamed on the weather. Passenger levels are also near record numbers despite fewer flights. On Friday alone, the TSA is expecting 8 million travelers arriving at airports across the country.
Let's brew some beer.
Tonight, Anheuser-Busch is brewing a new image amid a Bud backlash. The message it's sending, plus how you can score some free brews. Groceries and gas are about to get more expensive in Illinois. Tonight, how 2 new taxes will affect those working to make ends meet.
And the water bill and the electric bill both rising as the drought continues and the temperature soars. I'll show you the areas most likely to see a shower or storm and why it isn't expected to be a drought buster.
Tonight, the U.S. Coast Guard believes it's likely human remains were recovered from the wreckage of the Titan submersible. The news comes just hours after debris of the vessel arrived at a port in Newfoundland. The submersible imploded during its mission to the Titanic wreckage last week. All 5 men on board died.
We have a nose wheel unsafe indication. We're going to have to go ahead and declare an emergency.
Frightening moments aboard a Delta flight from Atlanta to Charlotte today. Passengers braced as the pilot landed the plane without a functioning nose landing gear. The plane landed safely with more than 100 people on board.
Tonight, Anheuser-Busch is out with a new ad campaign.
I grow the hops. I make the steam. No steam, no beer. We make the cans.
The ad features more than 140 AB employees, growers, and wholesalers, including 19 St. Louisans. The campaign comes as the St. Louis brewer is experiencing a significant drop in sales following Bud Light's social media partnership with a transgender influencer.
It's kind of their way of, without saying it, of kind of saying, hey, we messed up here. This is really who we are. This is our core.
In a statement, Anheuser-Busch said, quote, "We remain committed to the programs and partnerships we have forged over decades with organizations to drive economic prosperity across a number of communities, including those in the LGBTQ+ community." Anheuser-Busch isn't stopping there. The company's offering $15 rebates on 15 packs of Budweiser, Bud Light, Bud Select, and Bud Select 55. That's practically free. The offer is good on purchases made through July 8th.
Tonight, President Joe Biden was in Chicago, where he took part in a fundraiser with Governor J.B. Pritzker. Earlier today in the Windy City, the president touted his economic policies that he's dubbing Bidenomics.
Bidenomics is working. When I took office, the pandemic was raging and our economy was reeling. Bidenomics is about building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down.
The president says his policies have led to low unemployment, easing inflation, and investments in infrastructure. But a recent NBC News poll found just 38% of Americans surveyed approved his handling of the economy, down sharply from 2 years ago. In just a few days, people in the Metro East will be paying more to drive their cars and feed their families.
Illinois is implementing a new tax and ending the suspension of another. In tonight's Making Ends Meet, Michelle Lee breaks down how much it's going to cost you.
If you live in Illinois, 2 weekly errands will be more expensive soon. July 1st is a tax date that no one is excited about. Tax exemptions from last year will officially come to an end. But what does it really mean for your bottom line? Well, first of all, it's going to cost you more at the grocery store and the gas station. How much? You'll see a 1% tax increase next time you buy food. So that means you'll give the state of Illinois $2 every time you spend $200 at the grocery store. Now, if you go grocery shopping once a week, that could be a little more than $100 a year. Your gas tank will see the second tax increase this year. This is part of the state's yearly inflation-based gas tax, which passed in 2019. So how much is that hike? Well, you're looking at 3 cents a gallon. Now, for most of us, it's not as bad as it sounds. For each full tank, it averages out to be a $10 difference for the rest of the year. But many families have multiple cars, and we also didn't account for business vehicles here. In the end, these are taxes that were already in the works, reinstated or part of the budget. And although Illinois is just one of 13 states that taxes groceries, it is one of the lowest among them. And the gas tax is part of a plan to help improve the roads. And that explains it as you try to make ends meet.
If you need to fill up your tank for the summer road trip this holiday weekend, you may want to do it tomorrow. Circle K is bringing back its popular Fuel Day promotion for the 4th of July. From 3 until 6 tomorrow, you can fill up for 40 cents off per gallon. Despite the deal, you'll still be paying $3 or more a gallon. Average price right now in St. Louis, $3.43. In the Metro East, as always, it's higher, $3.70. The national average is at $3.55 a gallon. Those prices are about $1.35 lower than this time last year.
We are less than a week away from the 4th of July. Several communities will be holding fireworks shows starting this weekend. And if you want a full list, all you have to do is text the word fireworks to 314-425-5355, and we'll send you a link to our fireworks finder.
And now going back to that brutal heat on the horizon. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joining us with the weather first forecast.
Yeah, you know, we definitely are going to be looking at some really steamy conditions. What we won't be looking at tomorrow, though, is smoke like we saw today. And I can't remember it ever looking exactly like this for as long as it did. You know, sometimes after fireworks, we have some bad air quality that lingers. It took almost all day before we could finally see the city. I pulled the air quality reports for the Blair Street station from the Department of Natural Resources. And we still, because it's a 24-hour average that we end up getting for your particulate matter, what's smoke in the air, we still have to wait until after midnight before we get the count. But we're in the running here for today to be our worst air quality day as far as the smoke particles for what we saw. And that was a case from Collinsville. Elizabeth shared this beautiful photo with us. Well, it's a nice picture. It's just not a nice picture of what's in the picture. All that smoke and haze this morning, it was clearly visible. Now, here's the thing tomorrow. The air quality is a little bit better in terms of the smoke. We've gotten rid of that. But we're going to have ozone, and the timing on that is during the afternoon and the evening, so kind of reverse of what we were dealing with today. Then we have our 2 weather alert days here for Thursday and Friday. You can make a case on Saturday with the chances of storms that too might be a weather alert day, but certainly for the heat and humidity going into tomorrow, most of us have that heat advisory. The afternoon heat index values 105 to 110 degrees. You want to spend as much time as you can in air conditioning. That's not practical for everybody, but you heard earlier, we're checking on our neighbors, right? We're drinking water and more water to stay hydrated. You can eat a lot of fruit too. That has a lot of moisture in it. Take those frequent breaks if you can. And you know, if you don't have air conditioning and you know somebody that does, invite yourself over. Just stop in for a while, visit, let's chat, stay cool, let's stay safe. Not much happening on the radar close to St. Louis tonight. The focus is really out here in western Kansas and especially up here, northeastern Colorado into Nebraska. odds are the focus will stay north and west of us overnight. This big heat dome building in, but again, it's those disturbances that run over the top of that upper level ridge that tend to create some scattered showers and thunderstorms. We think something will try to develop towards daybreak, especially north and east of St. Louis. All indications are it's going to stay well east of St. Louis, and thereby we end up with our hot, steamy afternoon. Going into very late Friday night, very early, or late Thursday night into very early Friday, we may have some more stronger storms trying to flirt with areas north of St. Louis. Again, it's driven by thunderstorms, small disturbances. We have a hard time timing those out. You know, even 12 hours before something happens when you're in this type of scenario. So the storm chance is pretty low Thursday. The chances were hot, really high Thursday. Friday, dangerous heat. Saturday, better chances for storms across the area, but not everybody will get wet. Sunday, that chance is there. We may have some thunderstorms too. Again, and you mentioned it, Mike, we have fireworks displays this weekend in many spots. So just check that 5 on Your Side app to make sure you know what's going on weather-wise.
And be careful, because the dry conditions out there can be dangerous.
Absolutely.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, the Blues had an eventful night at the draft. We'll go live to Nashville for the latest. And the Cardinals had yet another brutal night at Busch Stadium.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
It was their worst season in 15 years, and if you know Doug Armstrong, he simply won't put up with bad hockey. So last night, he picked up a quality player in Kevin Hayes, and tonight was the NHL Draft. Let's head live to Nashville and check in with Corey Miller, who has provided coverage for us throughout the day. Corey, take it away.
Thanks, Frank, and it was a busy day for Doug Armstrong and company here in Nashville. No trade drama to report, but 3 first-round picks to make, including their first top 10 pick since 2008. With that number 10 overall pick in this year's draft, the Blues took Dalibor Dvorsky. He's an 18-year-old forward from Slovakia who many predicted wouldn't even be available to the Blues at number 10. So what does he know most about the Blues is what I asked him after he was drafted. And of course, it's the magical 2019 Stanley Cup run that he said was, quote, one of the best ever.
Yeah, I've heard it's an awesome city. And, you know, it's just a great organization, and I'm so proud to be there. You know, they had probably the best Stanley Cup run ever, what I remember. So, no, I'm just super honored to be in the blue. I will just do anything to win every single game, and that's what I'm gonna try to do with the Blues. Just try to, like I said, win every game and be the best player possible. And I'm just so looking forward to come to St. Louis and meet all of you fans.
The Blues rounded out their first round with a pair of Swedes. Forward Otto Stenberg and defenseman Theo Lindstein with picks 25 and 29 respectively. The fellow countrymen are good friends and at a nice moment after the draft, realizing they were going to be teammates in the Blues organization. So no trades tonight. We know Doug Armstrong likes to make some trades. Maybe we'll see some tomorrow. He did tell us afterward he was very happy all 3 guys he picked were still available to the Blues at those respective spots. That's the story here from Nashville with photographer Eric Voss. I'm Corey Miller. We'll send it back to the station.
All right, good stuff, Corey. By the way, when does a general manager say after a draft, well, we really blew that one? All right, let's move to baseball. The Cardinals may not lead the league in home runs, earned run average, or fielding percentage, but in terms of painful home runs given up in the late innings, the Redbirds are on an island. Nobody is close. The Astros just put another dagger in our hearts. Now, the Astros got 3 in the first, and the Cardinals, with 1 swing from Nolan Arenado, tied the game. His 16th of the season. However, he left the game later with low back tightness. Bottom 2, 4-3 Cardinals. Goldie with a bomb, 443 feet. That's number 14. He's having a terrific season. And John Mozeliak is thinking, you know, I traded for both of these guys. He also traded for this guy, Giovanni Gallegos. 2 on, 2 strikes in the 8th, and you just kind of know this was going to happen. Jose Altuve with a blast. And if that wasn't enough for you, and it darn well should be, Jose Abreu takes Gallegos deep, 2-run shot, 5 runs in the inning. The Astros beat the Cardinals 10-7. So City Park hosted the U.S. men's national team tonight in their game against St. Kitts and Nevis. All USA, Djordje Mihailovic with a rocket. And right now, the United States leading this game in the second half, 5-0. And as you can see by the crowd, unbelievable. We are an unbelievable soccer town. Every game we play at City Park, it is packed.
Yes, and there's not a bad seat in the house. It's just
it's a beautiful
great.
place.
And once again, the Cardinals snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory. It's very frustrating. Frank,
brutal.
Frank, thanks.
An Olympic champion is getting back in the swing of things, and her St. Louis in-laws won't have to drive far to watch her return to competition. Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles is returning to competitive gymnastics. She'll compete in the U.S. Classic in Chicago in August. This will be her first competition since the Tokyo Olympics 2 years ago. The 27-year-old, who recently married St. Louis and Jonathan Owens, has not said if she'll compete for a spot for the Paris Games next summer.
That would be pretty cool. There you have it, 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. and have a great tomorrow.